Hello and welcome to the KFC Yum Center in Louisville and the Division I Women's Volleyball Championship. Today we begin our press conference portion here in about 5 minutes with the Nebraska Cornhuskers at 12:30. Just a 5-minute warning. As we wait for Nebraska to get to the dais here, please just make sure you check your phones and devices, make sure they're on silent. No video recording here in the interview room, and please wait for a microphone to get to you. We have one on each side. We'll be as quick as we can with that. And then just tell us who you are, what outlet you're with, and then we will get us through many questions as we can. And as Coach gets settled here, we'll ask him for an opening statement, then we'll do questions for the student athletes, and then let them go and back to Coach. Coach, welcome back to Louisville.
Thanks. This is our third time this year. Our goal is to get here the third time, and it's changed a little bit since the last time we were here, so we're excited. It's a great place to play volleyball, this arena, and I hear it's sold out, so it should be fun.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the Nebraska student athletes, please. Middle aisle to the left, back row.
Lexi, what's most gratifying about being a four-time All-American?
I think it's just, I think it's just really cool. I mean, it's something that, Coach challenges everyone to come in and be their best and try and be an All-American. But ultimately, I just think it's really cool that everyone kind of believed that I could do it. And my coaches always believed in me and my teammates did. And they were just always so supportive of me. So I owe it all to them and for all that they've done to help me get to where I am today.
More questions here? Let's go on the right here in the middle. And then on the end. We'll go middle, then end. Yep. Thank you.
Merrick, way back when you transferred, it didn't seem like everybody was, and not you specifically, but what do you make out of what's going on right now, and especially this past few days in the portal? It seems like there's more people in it than not. Do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, there's a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on the portal. I think it's a very beautiful thing as someone who is in a position that really needed it. And so I'm grateful for the portal. I know a lot of people have negative things to say about the portal, but as someone who has come out of the portal and been in a much better place than I was before, I'm extremely grateful for it. But like I said, there's a lot of different opinions on it. I'm personally very, very grateful to have the portal.
Hi, Aish with ESPN. I spoke with Justine Wong-Orantes yesterday, and she talked about how records are meant to be broken and that she couldn't be more thrilled that you are the one that's about to. Two-part question. First, how does that feel coming from her? And then I'll ask the other part after you answer.
I think it means everything coming from her, and she's just such an amazing libero and such a sweet person, and she's someone that I've always looked up to ever since I was getting recruited by Nebraska, and so to even be in the same conversation with her is just insane to me, but yeah, she has just been so supportive, and it's truly meant the world.
The second part of the question is, what is the scariest story you have to share as a libero?
Scariest?
Yeah, harrowing tale, if you will.
I'm not sure. There's some scary moments, obviously. I don't know if I can pinpoint exactly one, but there's always times when there's an open net and a big hitter. Those are always the scariest, but I don't know, you get used to it as you keep playing too.
Front row here on the left side.
Bergen, how do you prepare for, a game like this? Like, what would you do the rest of the day to keep you, focused?
Yeah. We have a pretty busy day just with all the media, and we have some team stuff tonight, so we have our day pretty booked out, but just in terms of preparing for the game, we say that we've been preparing for it since January. So not really getting too much in our heads or trying to do too much. We have our routine that we'll stick with tomorrow, our game day routine, but other than that, just kind of falling back on what we've been doing all season since the beginning of the year, and just knowing that it's worked for us, so we're not going to try and fix it.
Staying on the left side.
Bergen, this one's for you. What did last year's experience teach you? What was your biggest takeaway, and how much of a benefit is it coming back to the Final Four, knowing you've been here before?
Yeah, it's just a little more comfort and knowing that I've been through it before, and obviously this is a huge stage and this is what we work for all year, so I don't know if you can necessarily ever say that you're fully comfortable, but just having another year of experience, having it under my belt has helped a lot, just confidence-wise and comfort-wise, I guess, but we're really excited to be back and hopefully get it done this year.
Merritt, do you feel like it's a benefit to be playing a team in the Final Four that you've already played this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome for us. We get another chance. Obviously, we didn't come out on top the first time that we played Penn State, and so I think we're really excited to just have another chance. But I think the way we're kind of trying to go about it this year is just like we get another day, and only 4 teams are in that position right now, and so I think we're just trying to take it day by day, and one of our mottos has kind of been, it's not us like versus Penn State, or it wasn't us versus Wisconsin or whoever we played, it's us in the Final Four, and no matter who's on the other side of the net, we're gonna focus on our side and do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so I think kind of like Bergen said, obviously we learned a lot from last year, and I think we are kind of going about it differently a little bit this year just because we have that experience. So I mean, there's pros and cons, just like pretty much everything. I think we're excited just to get another opportunity.
Lexi, is there people are going to make it like you guys are out for revenge because they beat you the first time, so give me the company line that it's just another game.
I mean, at the end of the day, it really is. It's just we're in the Final Fours, the semifinals, and at the end of the day, honestly, we have to play Nebraska volleyball and play our best game. It doesn't really matter who it would be against. We know that we have to play our best game of volleyball tomorrow night to be able to advance to the national championship.
Okay, anything else? Okay, let's come back to the middle aisle there.
Jacob Badil with Hale Varsity. Bergen, Lexi's finalist for National Player of the Year. If you were making the case for her to win it, what would it be?
I mean, she's the best libero that I have ever watched play volleyball, and it's just an honor to get to play with her and to set her passes. I mean, a lot of days at practice are pretty easy for me because she passes dimes right on my head, so I don't know, I can tell people that she passes good literally every single day. So that would be my case. It's great to be a setter off of her, but it's just so cool that she's even in the position that she is. I know that a lot of times liberos get looked over, and she's made a name for herself and made a case to not get looked over. So really cool for her, and I'm really proud of her.
Okay, anything else for the student athletes? Ladies, thank you very much. You guys can go.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for Coach. Start here on the right side.
John, a couple questions. The first one is for all the talk of parity and for how competitive the season was, there's 4 number 1 seeds here. And it's this overwhelming feeling that the rich are just getting richer. And this is a perfect example of it. I know for you personally, that's a good thing because you're the richest. But what are your thoughts about the imbalance that seems to be being created?
Well, you're asked, first of all, I think this year was the most competitive year we've had. And there's so many good teams, and you saw all the upsets all across the country. So even though the top 4 seeds got here, there's a reason that we're top 4 seeds, because we had to earn it over a lot of tough competition. And now, tomorrow night, we've got to win the Big Ten again to get to the national championship. And we had to beat, literally the last 2 matches, we have to win the Big Ten again. They're top 2 teams in the Big Ten along with us. So, but where you're going with that is there's super conferences now, and I think that's one of the things that's going to separate. So the conferences that have the money for revenue share are definitely going to have an advantage, and the conferences that don't it's going to be tough. So you're right, it's probably heading where we're going to have the have and have nots. I think it's in volleyball, it's going to be in football, basketball, but that's way above my pay grade on how we got there and why it's happening. But if you want to compete, it's, I've already seen it this week in the portal, what's going on. It's nuts. And of course, we've seen it in football and basketball as well, but now it's here for volleyball.
You have the highest pay grade, but
still ain't that high.
What I asked Merritt, though, about, your ill-timed comment at this time last year notwithstanding, you've taken transfers. The odds are you're going to take another one this year because you've got a big opening, and it seems like there's just more people than ever. But just your general thoughts about what's happening right now, especially in the last few days. It just seems nuts.
I agree with you. I think we're sending the wrong messages to developing young people. Is there loyalty anymore? Is there anything about commitment? Do those words mean anything? And again, I'm coming from the old school background. So, and I've heard Gino talk about it, I've heard Nick Saban talk about it, and several other coaches, the basketball coach, Tony, at Virginia. I used to play pickup games with him, by the way, at Wisconsin. It's kind of what we really never thought we would sign up for this, and it kind of defeats, I think, one of the things that motivates coaches is, you want to develop young people, and now I'm not sure we're doing that, and it's more about what's in it for me and where can I get the best deal, and I see what's going on with some of these programs and these players leave, and we had 4 players leave last year. It's heartbreaking because you invest so much in these players emotionally, time-wise, and training them and trying to fulfill their dreams and help them accomplish their dreams, and then they can walk out like it's nothing. And so I just think there's a lot of negativity to it for big picture stuff as well. But if you want to survive, you're going to have to figure out how to play along in the system, and that's what I'm trying to figure that out.
Coach, can you talk about your coaching staff, how much they mean to you and your players as well throughout the season?
Well, it's, having a great coaching staff is a huge advantage to try to perform at the level we're performing at. And I feel very lucky because I've got Kelly Hunter, who's won 2 national championships, played in our program. Jordan Larson's done everything, played in our program. Jalen's been actually the longest assistant coach that has worked with me for the longest period of time of any assistant coach I've had. I've got 2 former assistant coaches and a player out there practicing right now in this thing. And so hiring good people and letting them develop and letting them do their thing. But it's not easy to keep everybody happy and work together, and there's a lot of work that goes into that, just like having a great family and having a great culture with our team. We're constantly working at it and trying to get better and challenge each other and then try to be on the same page with our players.
Hey, John, I know you talked about the 2 kids that transferred from your program to Penn State earlier this year, but if you could just touch on their development and how they've kind of made a next step in their playing.
Well, obviously they both had a great year. We had great plans for them. We knew they were good, and Maggie, once she went full-time volleyball, we knew she would really make a jump. And we also had a great plan for Caroline, but again, for whatever reason, those guys chose to leave, and they found it, obviously went to another great program, and it's worked out really well for them. But we miss them. I mean, they were a year ago, they were right there in our locker room. So it's kind of bizarre when you think about it. And I'm seeing the pictures and stuff from last year. They're in all the pictures and Big Ten championship stuff, and here we are playing them to try to get the national championship. So it's like Lee pointed out. I mean, this is just nuts.
Having been through this countless times for you, and having a team that was so young last year, how beneficial was that experience last year? I know you didn't get the result you wanted, but how much will that serve you this time around?
Merritt nailed it. I mean, we're in a whole different place than we were last year. Last year, you're just, wow, we're happy to be here. This is great. But like today, I mean, the amount of things going on and the distractions, it's unreal. And then, parents coming in. I mean, it's just the whole goal is, you got to remember why you're here is to try to win a volleyball match tomorrow. And you can get so distracted very easily. And so I think our team now understands we only have 3 players that haven't been through this right now. And so I think they understand why we're here and what needs to happen and how we got to focus. And it's a challenge.
Carolyn for Penn State, what are all the reasons you think she was able to have one of her better matches of the year against you earlier this year?
You have to ask her that.
What do you need to do a better job against defending her tomorrow?
We got to stick with our game plan, and we have to play a lot better than we did at Penn State. So our team knows that.
Jacob Dill at Hale Varsity. The libero position typically doesn't get a lot of recognition. What do you think is different about Lexi to be a finalist for the National Player of the Year?
Well, I'm going to put this in perspective. So I remember in 2004. Well, let's go to before that. I mean, when the libero came in, we didn't even have a libero because we had outside hitters we played all the way around. So I didn't even think libero was that important a position. And I think our first libero was in 2004. So 2003 we played without a libero. 2005 we played without a libero. So as a coach, I'm like, it's just some little kid, that can't do anything else. So you make him a libero. And now we're learning how important the libero position is. And the fact that a libero is considered for National Player of the Year, one of the 4 finalists, I think is epic for the sport because you don't know how many little girls want to be Lexi Rodriguez right now. And again, we always look at how tall and how physical volleyball players are and evaluate that. But here's somebody is a huge difference maker. And here's another stat I'll give you. This is the 50th year in Nebraska volleyball. There's only been 3 4-time All-Americans. Sarah Pavin, who's one of the greatest players ever, Katie Rolfson, and now Lexi in 50 years of Nebraska volleyball. So, it's a pretty major accomplishment right there. And again, from that libero position, somebody that again, I always thought she was too short. I didn't want to recruit her. But Caleb Banworth, who was my assistant at the time, basically overruled me. And he asked about assistant coaches. There you go. Head coaches usually don't know much. So anyway, she's and she's continued the tradition of great liberos in our program.
Back on the right side here.
What was the first year you gave a scholarship to a libero?
Wow, that's a really good question. Well, the first one would have been probably Danny Busboom because she was a setter, and I just read a thing. She had over 3,000 assists, so she actually set quite a bit for us, 5'1" and 6'2". So she was probably the first one on scholarship. But probably Kayla was actually a walk-on, and then we put her on scholarship her second year. So she was probably the first one, but she started as a walk-on. Yeah.
Merritt's obviously grinding on offense right now. What's going on?
hey, it's a tough game. So, but she'll be fine.
Anything else for Coach? One more, left side.
Hey, John, I was looking at the last time you guys won the national championship, an old video clip, and you had mentioned a story about Kelly Hunter, that when she was a freshman, you said that you had questions whether she would even make it on the team. Can you just expand on that? I can't remember what the situation was there, and how did she develop, not only on the court, but off maturity-wise?
So Kelly, when she was a hitter, and then they made her a setter in high school, and so she was pretty inexperienced. Then when she got to Nebraska, I think she had other priorities than volleyball, and she wasn't that great a setter to begin with. So it wasn't pretty, and I'm like, she can't locate the ball, and I don't know if she's ever going to play here. And it's one of the reasons we went out and got a transfer setter. And then her second year, we redshirted her, and that was a tough decision. She didn't really want to do that, but it ended up working out pretty good for us, and she developed into a great setter. She still is a great setter. Jordan's trying to talk her into going to the national team all the time. I mean, she's still set in practice, or she'll set Jordan when she's working out, and yeah, she became a really talented setter. But I think her playing, she was a middle blocker at one point, outside hitter, all those things helped her develop that into a really good volleyball player.
Okay, right side in the aisle here.
Coach, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You said Kayla overruled your decision not to. With Lexi, can you explain that? What did she say to you that made you feel like, okay, she has a point here and that we should maybe listen to her?
I can remember it like it was yesterday. I'm like, we were in Dream Team camp. We finished the camp. We talked to her, and just to say, hey, we're interested in recruiting, great job. And Kayla's like, we got to offer her. We got to offer her. She's going into 9th grade. And I'm like, she's too small. I want taller liberos. We got to cover the court. And I was using some examples of some liberos and other programs at that time that were 6-foot liberos people were using, and she goes, Coach, we are offering. She's like in my face, pounding on my chest. We are offering her. We're not letting her leave without offering her. So I did, and Lexi walked from my office to the elevator, which is about 40 feet, hit the button with her mom. They were getting ready to go down. She stopped, walked back in my office, and committed. That's the story. So here we are. We're at time goes by fast.
All right, time for one more, or we can let John go here. We'll let him go. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Coach.
guys, thanks.
Good luck. Just attention media, we are about 3 minutes away from the Pitt Panthers press conference. Just a 3-minute heads up. All right, as the Panthers now in the media interview room, and just a reminder to please silence your phones, and then we will have microphones on each side of the interview area. Just raise your hand, we'll get one to you quickly. And as they get settled here on the dais, we will start with an opening statement from Coach, then we will go to the student athletes, and then let them go, and then come back to Coach for some more questions. So, Dan, welcome back to Louisville.
Well, it's good to be back here, and we appreciate the hospitality of the city. I just got a gift of a really cool Louisville Slugger bat that I think will probably be in my office forever. We had a good practice today, and we're glad to be done with finals and able to fully focus on a really tough match coming up.
Okay, thanks. Let's do some questions for the Pitt student athletes.
Olivia, could you speak about your serve? We've seen your serve got more dominant over the last couple of years. Can you take us through that process?
Yeah, I feel like we definitely focus on serving a lot in our gym. So it's just about creating good habits. A topspin serve is definitely one that you can't expect to have a perfect, scenario every single time. The toss might be a bit off. So just stuff like that, we really work on just focusing on hand contact. And I feel like just working on that has helped me find more success in being consistent, just knowing that it's not going to be perfect every time, but I know how to adjust to situations like that.
Thanks. Right side.
The players, Rick Bozich from WDRB in Louisville. You guys have played Louisville 2 or 3 times every year. Usually one team wins one match, the other team wins, 2 of them. How do you characterize the rivalry with them over the years when you think about playing against them?
Rachel, can you start with that one, please?
Well, let's just start by saying we're very fortunate to play them so many times throughout the year. We have immense respect for them, for the coaching staff, all the players, and I just think we make them better, they make us better. So the opportunity of playing them multiple times in one season is good preparation for big moments like this.
I would also say it's nice that we're here and we've played against them 3 weeks ago in this arena, so it's nice and we have like the opportunity to just kind of play them again in this big stage, but like we've been here before. It's our second home.
Rachel, this is your 4th Final Four. How do you think you've matured from each appearance, making it this far, and how do you think you've grown each time, learning what you need to do and prepare for this matchup?
Yeah, well, as a player, I think I've gotten better. Thanks. Yeah, I think I've just, my toolkit has gotten better, and along with that, just every single year adds a year of experience under my belt. I think me, along with the older players on the team, are used to high-pressure situations like this. Pressure is a privilege, so we love being in situations like this, and we're more prepared, we're ready.
For all of the players, do you subscribe to the theory that you often hear, a cliche, that it's hard to beat a team a 3rd time? And if not, what advantage do you see going into this match based on your previous success?
Yeah. Do I subscribe to that? I mean, I think that it's hard to beat Louisville, period. I mean, they're a good team. They know us. And we know them, so I feel like I said before, I feel like we have an advantage of like being able to play in this arena 3 weeks ago and coming out on top. So I feel like it's really up to just like having that fun and competing. And I feel like when we have fun and compete, we can win everything.
Olivia?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, like, you hear that phrase all the time, but when thinking back on our conference, I feel like we have a really extremely hard conference, and at the end of the day, it's hard to streak wins in general, and I feel like we've just played a lot of hard games back to back. So, I mean, yeah, it's the same team, but I think we know this team, and we know that our best is really good, so we're just going to compete. We know they're going to bring their best, we know we're going to bring our best, and just going to make the little plays separate us, so, yeah.
Rach?
Yeah, I mean, they said it well. It's hard to beat a team once. It's hard to beat a team twice.
That's good.
Thank you. Next question is on the left side, back row.
Okay, so with every team in this Final Four being #1 seeds, is there an added pressure knowing that it's just a top competition, and even though it should be the top competition every time?
I mean, you kind of answered it, how I would answer it. I mean, the top competition is going to be in the Final Four every year, so even if it were a 2 seed, I think we'd still feel the same amount of pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, any team at this point in the tournament is going to be a contender for the national championship, so for sure, yeah.
All right.
Speaking of the pressure you have, do you feel like you guys have, since you're the #1 overall seed, but you're playing Louisville, who's hosting it, do you feel like you guys maybe have a little bit less pressure on yourselves because you're playing basically a road game?
Rachel?
You said Rachel?
Please, yes.
Yeah, it's nice that we've had the opportunity of playing here and against a team that we know. There's perks and like challenges to playing a team that we're so used to, but yeah, any team we're gonna prepare for the same and lay it all out on the court. So.
Yeah, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler Griever from WDRB. I know it hasn't been that long since you guys played each other, but a lot can change in just a few weeks. How do you think Louisville looks different, and how do you think you guys are different from the last time you saw each other?
Olivia?
Yeah, I feel like ever since the last time we played each other, I mean, it's just been a bunch of tournament games, so we've all played a lot of really hard competition. So And, you know, we always talk about the idea of streaking, and technically to get here, you have to be streaking wins. So it seems like both of us are at the peak of our game, which I think is just going to be fun. I feel like all the little things are clicking for both teams. And, yeah, I think it's just going to be a really hard match because we're both, at the best at this point, so.
I think we had another question on the aisle still here, in the second row there. Then we'll come to the front.
I assume you know that 2 hours ago you were all named first-team All-Americans. How do you explain the success of this program kind of breaking into the elite in recent years, and what drew you to Pittsburgh?
No, but it truly is, and like attributed to all of Fish's hard work, all the coaching staff, and then the players that came before us. I mean, he's truly built a legacy at Pitt, just every single year getting better and better and better. And the players that go through the program just like set the tone for the incoming people, and it's just like a cycle of wanting to get better.
I would also add that I've been saying this, but I feel like we all feel like that we're not really just playing for ourselves, but like also for like the people that laid the foundation for this program. And like this is not only for like us, the seniors, the previous student athletes that went to Pitt too. So.
This is for Olivia and Tori. Obviously, last year was your first time making it to the Final Four. Now you're back. I mean, what is the difference in your mentality coming into this year, and how do you think you guys have? I get like the question I asked Rachel: have you grown from that experience and coming into this matchup against Louisville tomorrow night?
I feel like the difference between last year and this year, I mean, last year everyone tries to prepare you for it, but when you actually get there, you're still overwhelmed. You still don't. It's all still new to you, so you're kind of distracted by all the outside noise. But I feel like this year we've really worked on just channeling it in, staying in our 3-foot world, and I feel like that's helped us have success. I mean, at this point we're no longer new to this, so we know how all of the outside noise is going to go. So I think it's going to make it a lot easier to focus on just our team and our goal right now.
Yeah, we're not new to this. We're true to this. Shut up. But no, I would say that we've just had the experience from last year, so we know what to expect. And I think Liv said it best, we stay focused to our 3-foot world, and it's just us on the court playing together and playing for each other.
Left side, middle aisle.
How do you guys handle all the pressure with schoolwork, practice, travel, and being a student athlete? What is that pressure?
Rachel?
It's a lot. It's a lot to handle, but I think we have very nice, we're fortunate to have good resources at Pitt that help us through everything, and then good mentors that show us the way. I mean, just prioritizing, making sure your priorities are in a line, and just time management. But this year, it's very nice. We are done with finals, so now we only get to focus on volleyball.
Previous years, people were taking finals during this time, we're running to take a final, so we're glad that we got everything out of the way before we came here.
Do you guys feel like having a fast start for this game is a little bit more important since you're playing basically a road game in this, just to quiet the crowd?
We always talk about starting fast. That's one of our keys. We have so many themes, but I feel like that's one that we try to accomplish each match. So starting fast is big, but I would agree that if you do start fast in an away arena, then it does quiet the crowd.
Time for one more for the student athletes.
I guess it's for any player. I mean, obviously, you guys have played DeBeer and Looper so much over these past 2 seasons. What makes them such tough pin hitters to defend against? And I guess, that was my question.
Olivia, can you go first?
Oh, yeah, I can. I mean, they're just great players at a great program. It's very clear that they're people that their team relies on. And I mean, naturally, they're practicing every single day. They're getting better every single day. And, it's just very clear that, especially playing us, just brings out the best in them. So, I mean, they're definitely tough to defend and definitely a focus of ours. But I also feel like playing them brings out the best in us. So like we know that whatever they're, coming at us with, we're coming right back at them. So, yeah.
Anything else? Are we good? You guys good? All right. Thanks to the Pittsburgh student athletes. Let them get out, and then we'll have questions for you, Coach. Just you. You were funny because you just kept looking at her saying, you just kept looking at her saying, Rachel? That's pretty good. That was good. Thank you. All right, questions for Coach Fisher. Start here in the third row on the right side.
Yeah, I'll ask the same question I asked the players. They mentioned that Louisville brings out the best in you and you bring out the best in them. How would you characterize the rivalry, considering how often you guys have played over the last few years?
From my end, it's nothing but respect. And I do agree that, playing against great teams makes you better and exposes you for stuff you don't see in your own practice gym or when you're playing a weaker opponent. And so, even though we've won both games, there's been things we've learned from those that really they made us uncomfortable in certain areas. So I think I think the rivalry is probably a little bit more for the fans, but the competition has definitely made us both better.
Dan, Breeze had pretty solid performances against Louisville in both her appearances this season. What's allowed her to excel against your biggest rival and in some of the most important matches of the season?
Yeah, Bree has been so consistent this year against everyone. She seems to always hit 500 no matter who we're playing, and so I don't know that it's just Louisville, but she has a tendency to get pumped up for big games.
Okay.
Olivia has 45 kills in the 2 matches against U of L. And I'm wondering if you can give us any sense of how their approach to her has changed over the season, maybe over the years, and what you expect tomorrow.
I don't know how anyone approaches Olivia. She's a dominant attacker, and they're certainly going to know that she's going to get a lot of attempts. But there have been games over the last 2 years where we set Tori a lot of balls, so I think they know that Olivia's going to get her attempts, but depending on game flow, it might go, a little bit more to some other players.
Coach, when you're scouting Louisville, how do you not overdo it when you're scouting? Because you've seen them so much, you know what they're going to bring, and not read into something they've done well once, but not every time you've played them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that balance as a coach, because when you overdo it, sometimes the athletes are trying to play a scouting report on the court, and we want them on the court, playing the percentages, but trusting what they're seeing. So I think probably uncharacteristically, early this week, we didn't watch any Louisville video. We just worked on some things we wanted to work on.
Okay, back row on the right side.
Hey, Coach. I want to talk about Tori and Olivia's friendship. When you first recruited them, they played for Sunshine together. I'm curious, what made you want to recruit them together? It's very rare that 2 people that play in the same club come to the same team in D1.
Well, this was right when COVID lifted and we were able to go out and recruit, and I had seen video of Tori, and I went to a showcase to watch her, and then I saw this girl, Olivia, who was very raw at the time, but her head was above the net, and I just kind of kept wondering who this girl was that no one was talking about, and so I saw them both for the first time live at the same showcase, and I called, and I have a tendency it takes me a long time to make decisions recruiting, and it drives my staff crazy, but I'd call them all up and said, these 2 girls are 100% yeses. I just, from the moment I saw them both, I was convinced. Does that answer your question, or was there a second part? Well, there is certainly the physical characteristics. but I think they both played with, especially Tori at that moment. They both, like, Tori really is a joyful player. Like, she has a spirit about her on the court that really, is for me really attractive. It's rare that you see someone that's a really joyful player.
Dan, for you as well, this is your fourth straight Final Four. I mean, what about you? Like, in terms of your mindset, what's it been like this week for you? Is it just business as usual, or is there anything different than maybe in past years?
Well, it's never business as usual when there's so much going on. I think I had to pack about 7 different outfits, and the portal opened, they're finishing finals, so it's not your normal schedule, but it certainly helps to have gone through it before. And I think my main mindset is, which isn't abnormal, but is really just to what we preach to the players, so that just myself and my coaches are peaking at game time, that we're saving our best energy for them.
Dan, hey, Tyler Graver from WDRB. Through all the meetings with Louisville, is there a characteristic you pull from those matches that just comes through again and again? I mean, you guys have gone 5 sets up the whole length through it so many times.
I think the 2 things that jump out is both teams like to just take big rips. I don't think either team tips a ton, and then probably just the toughness. I think there's been multiple games where over the years where maybe one team thought it was over and it wasn't.
Okay, we're still staying on the right aisle here.
What should we make of the presence of all 4 number 1 seeds here? Is there a gap between these teams and the rest of the NCAA?
Yeah, probably, but it's a really small gap. I mean, I think, we found ourselves in a 5-setter with Oregon. Louisville had some, close one with Northern Iowa. I think there is a gap, but it's small.
Left side, Coach.
Last time a Cardinal had 20 kills, just in general this season, was against you guys. It was Anna. How do you limit her impact on the court and make sure that she doesn't repeat the performance?
I wish I knew. Yeah, I think that's the key word is slowing her down, right? Just limiting. She has some tendencies, but what makes her great is even if there's a well-formed block, she can still find a way off a lot of times, as can our players. So, when you're playing against a good player, it's just pressure over time. A good block, a good defense over time was wearing her down.
Does rehearsal look any different tomorrow than it has over the past many weeks?
Potentially, we sometimes we'll do a session with our sports psychologist tonight. So if there's a theme in there that that resonates, we'll probably include that.
Anything else for Coach? All right, then.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Good luck. Hello, media. Just a quick note. We are about 4 minutes from the Louisville press conference. Just a heads up, 4 minutes away. The Cardinals are on their way to the dais for the press conference. For those of you just joining us this afternoon, please check your phones, make sure they're on silent. And then we have microphones that will get around to you, one on each side. So please wait for that microphone before you start with your question. And as usual, we will begin with an opening statement from Coach and then go to the student athletes for more questions and have them as long as we can, then back to Coach to wrap it up. So as they get settled, we welcome the Cardinals to the Final Four. Danny?
Well, thank you all for being here. We're very excited to make it here, and pretty surreal to be in your hometown in the Final Four, a chance to win a national championship, and then, but 4 really great teams in this Final Four that have had some incredible moments this season. So should be entertaining for everybody.
Thanks, Danny. Let's take questions for the Cardinals, please. Here we go, back row, left side.
Talked a lot about different emotions I guess you guys have felt along this tournament run: excited, relieved, hungry. Can you talk a little bit about what the psychology of this week is like and trying to channel all of that emotion into productive use?
Charity, can you start, please?
I'd say for this week, it's just all about being grateful.
You never know when your last practice will be. You'll never know when your last game will be. So it's just taking in every moment, every second, and just being grateful for the opportunity to be here.
I think gratitude is great and just enjoying it. Like, there's only 4 teams that get to be here, so we know how hard it is when we get here. So really just coming out with confidence and just really enjoying it, because at the end of the day, win or lose, it's just such an awesome opportunity to be here.
Yeah, I feel like there has been kind of like an underlying pressure throughout the year to like make it to the Final Four in Louisville. But I think we've just kind of learned to ditch that and just, like they said, really enjoy it and take it all in each day.
Thank you. Next question. Here on the right side, we'll start in the second row.
This question for Anna. Can you share with us your most recent moment, since you are local, about your rock star moment here in Louisville?
Rock star moment, like, okay. I just think it's just really cool. Like, even my parents were talking about it, how just like they've gotten a little TV time as a joke, so people are coming up to them and just saying stuff. But it's just super cool how much the sport has grown in Louisville, and how much people, little girls, are in support of us. So it's just a grateful opportunity every day.
Okay, now we'll go left side, second row.
Yeah, Anna, kind of going off that point, to be in the hometown and to play in front of your fans, you've done it your whole career, but to do it on this stage, how special is this moment for you to kind of have this all come together?
It's crazy. It's definitely a full circle moment. Like, looking back, we really weren't sure if we were going to make it here. Like, obviously, the program really wanted to get here, and the fact that we are, it's just super exciting. And the Yum is such a great environment, so it's a good way to go out for my career, I guess you could say.
Thanks. Right side, second row, third row, sorry.
Okay, and I guess we'll get all these questions out of the way, and then you can do something different. There was no guarantee that, you get back here. You were not in the top 4 in the preseason, and you had a decision to make, which I don't take it was a real hard one. But how much trepidation do you have at all about doing this? And these stories don't always work out where you get there when it's in your hometown. Have you thought about it all, just how rare that is?
Yeah, obviously, like, with it being in Louisville, when I first decided to take my 5th year, I knew I wanted to take it for sure. Just, I couldn't miss up on the opportunity. I was just imagining myself watching it and not being there, and I was like, there's no way. So just to be, and it all worked out just to be here, and that was one of our goals early on in the year, and we didn't really know if we were going to get there, but we worked hard, and we've battled through a lot this year. So just for it to all kind of work out and to be here, I'm just really grateful.
Okay, next question is left side, second row.
For any one of you guys, obviously there's an inherent pressure that comes with competing in the Final Four, but how much pressure was taken off of you guys just knowing that you were able to get to this point and get to be able to compete for it in your home, in the place where you play?
That's a great question. I would say it started probably after the UNI game. It's just that game gave us a whole lot of confidence. Like, we knew we could come back from being behind and fight and then come back and win the game. So I think that game really just kind of flipped a switch in all of our minds. And, it's just only up from here. Like, we just switched a whole different gear, and we're just a more powerful, dynamic, and just super confident team now.
Yeah, I guess you could say there is a little relief, like, that we finally made it. Like, we're not done yet, but we did make it here. So it is a good way to kind of get the pressure off in that regard. And now it's just like, it's time to just play. Like, we've done all the work up to this point, and just to be here, that was one of our things. And now we got a few more things to take care of. So.
Yeah, I think last week was obviously like a tougher week playing Purdue. We haven't played them yet this year, and then a team that we've gone 1-1 with this year. So I definitely agree there was like kind of like a relief and just like some pressure taken off after last week, but we do know there's just so much more work to do. So we're excited.
Okay, back row, right side.
For Charity and Kara, when you guys, they've known about the Final Four being here for maybe 5 years or so, did they use that at all in the recruiting? Did you hear that? And I guess for both of you, did you talk a whole lot about it preseason, or when did it kind of maybe come to the fore that like you really started focusing on, hey, this is the year that it's here?
Yeah, I actually remember when I was being recruited junior year and the coaches brought it up, they're like, yeah, actually your senior year, well, the Final Four would be in Louisville. And at the time, like, it was like, oh yeah, that's cool, but like we didn't really expect to make it. So this year has just been like just very surreal and really exciting to know that this is actually a reality, that we're here, and I just never would have thought that a few years ago, so it's pretty cool.
I was late. I didn't figure out until last year, the end of last year, because I was a transfer and I just wasn't really like focusing on like going far in the tournament wasn't really our main goal. Like we just, after my first year, we kind of just, I don't know, we just kind of went downhill. But I was just kind of focusing on just being a better athlete and just getting better. So I never was like asking, where's the Final Four going to be, you know? But once I transferred to Louisville, then, you know, all that came to my mind. Like I wanted to know everything, where it was, when it was going to be, like hoping we were going to be in it. So yeah, last year.
Stay on the right side here.
You guys play Pitt 2 or 3 times every year. Now you're seeing them here in the Final Four. How do you characterize the rivalry with them and the matches as they unfold?
We have such a great respect for Pitt. They make us better, and we hopefully make them better because we're pushing each other each year in the conference. So it's such a good rivalry. Everyone claims it might be one of the biggest ones, and they're just a great team to play. So we're really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's always fun playing against them. I mean, we're both like, not like aggressive, but I mean, like we do like a lot of talking, but in a good way. At the end of the day, you know, like we both have respect for each other. Like I can never hate on anyone on another team who's just an incredible athlete. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a great game between both of us, and it's just going to be a battle, and I can't wait.
Okay, let's go to the left side, third row.
So even though this is your home court, it does look a little bit different. Did it feel different stepping out on practice today with the fans kind of watching you practice?
Yeah, kind of. I think obviously like the actual court is different, so we were obviously getting used to that, and I think it was cool to have an open practice today just to kind of get like a good feel of how it's going to feel tomorrow, just having a few people there and yeah, just kind of getting used to it, but yeah.
Okay, back to the right side on the aisle.
Hey guys, Coach Fisher for Pitt was talking about the 2 things that stand out to him about the matches you guys have played. Taking big swings, big rips is what he wanted to call it, and 2, each side has probably thought they were going to win a match and then it swung the other way. Just what have those meetings taught you guys about going up against them and what it takes, like the margin for error being so thin every time?
I'd say that you just can't give them anything easy because they're a great defensive team. They cover the heck out of their hitters. So, you know, we can't go in tipping. We have to go in swinging every ball and just be super aggressive.
Yeah, I think whether we're winning or losing, either team, like we're both learning so much about the opponent. And just after every time we play them, it's like we always find things that we can work on and improve the next time we meet up.
Okay, next question, right side on the end.
Every team has an identity, and your opponents look at you a certain way. How do you guys see the identity of this Louisville team and program?
I think one thing that I have really taken pride in over the last 5 years is just how great our team culture is. We get along so well, and the coaching staff are just great people, and we really care about each other, and I feel like that translates to how we do on the court. And if you don't have that chemistry or that bond on the court, you're not going to get anywhere. So I think that's been our identity a lot over the last few years, and just how much we care for each other, not as players, but also people.
Okay, stay on the right side.
Anna, this question is probably going to be continued to be asked until there is a breakthrough. But 2 years ago on this stage, you said that your coach is a badass, and you said you'd say that again. How much does it mean to you that this badass coach has a chance to be the first woman to be the coach of a champion?
She is badass. I'll say it again. But yeah, just to have a female coach have a chance. She's just been great, and where she's taken the program over the last 4 years, it's just been incredible. So to have that opportunity, I know that was a big thing just for her being a mother and a coach and really just taking this team far. So I'm really excited.
Next question on the left side, third row.
U of L has been to the Final Four a couple times in the last few years. What do you guys think you have to do this year to kind of get over that hump?
Charity?
I don't know. Just win. Shoot. I don't know.
I think just really like trusting our training and our scout too. Like we've worked so hard to be in this moment, and obviously the past few years not reaching the ultimate goal of winning the national championship, we haven't reached that yet, but I think just really trusting like how the coaches are training us and just continue to push each other each day.
I think it helps a lot with just being there before too, with a lot of the experience. I think that's something like these moments are pretty big moments, and just to kind of have how that feels. It feels really intense at first, the nerves may be there, and I think we've had a few people who've been there on the team, which is really going to help us, and same with everyone else. There's been a lot of players who've been there before, but just to kind of have that, I think that's going to help us a little bit more.
Okay, 2 more for the student athletes, one right here, and then we'll go over in the left corner. So right side first.
For any of you, you've played 4 matches against the other teams here, and your hitting percentage has improved from 091 to 133 to 203 to 289 in those 4 matches. Is that indicative of improvement or change in approach? Anything that you can pinpoint?
I'd definitely say improving like our ball handling. That's something we really focus on in practice, is that, you know, that first contact is very important. You obviously can't run an offense without having a great first contact. So just really cleaning up our passing, I can say, has really helped that, because it given our setters just the free range to, you know, set whoever they want to. And once our offense is like that, there's really no stopping us.
Yeah, I definitely think we've improved a lot in that regard, but I also just think over the last few weeks our team has gotten way more comfortable and confident and just going after it, and that could help a hitting percentage a little bit more. And we talked a lot about how we peaked a little bit later than we had thought. Like, we had worked really hard all year, and I think we peaked at a really good time, and we're continuing to just get better each week. Even in the tournament, we've gotten better. So I think that'll help, and that just shows how we've done the past few weeks.
Okay, left side, far end.
Yeah, for any of you, with Danny trying to vie to be the first female head coach in D1 volleyball to win a national title, what is your favorite thing about playing for her?
Kara, will you start, please?
I would just say like the balance of like goofy and serious. Like, we obviously know like when we're in the gym, like Danny's like, okay, like we're getting to work, like focus through the entire practice or entire game, whatever it is, but also like she just makes it so much fun, and I think we can just have so much fun, but also just execute what we're trying to execute each day.
There's a lot of things. Obviously, it's hard to like come up with one, but just like being a student athlete can be hard, and she just cares about you as a person, and just like random stuff. Like, over the past 5 years, we've done like, she'll surprise us with like going to do something fun, like getting our nails done, or we're gonna like go do this and go do a team bonding activity. Like, she just kind of like has a balance of like, if we work hard, it's gonna pay off, and we'll get some time to enjoy some things that we're not used to. So just the balance between that has really made it special, and it's one of my favorite things.
I would say just how Danny is just like she's always a woman of her word, and she's never like fake, if that makes sense. Because I remember like how she was when I was on the phone with her, when I was in the portal, and everything she said, like she stood on that. Like, what she said on the phone is like what she did when I like am in her program right now. So she's just an amazing coach overall, and like she just doesn't lie about anything.
All right, we're going to now let the Cardinals go if you guys want to, or if you just want to stay, that's cool too, and take questions for Danny here. They're like, nope, we're done. All right, we're going to start on the right side in the aisle here.
Hey, Danny, when it comes to you and Pitt, it almost feels like you two rose at a very similar time. Just what has that been like from your position to kind of rise in conjunction with one another and be directly competing against each other while doing it?
I mean, I feel like I've been asked this question a lot in the past 3 years, because we've done similar things, and every year it comes up. So just saying that, it's just very appreciative that we have each other, because I'm not sure one of us could have done it without the other. And just the rise of the ACC has also really helped and allowed us to get bigger and more physical athletes. But the one thing, thinking about our rivalry that I find interesting, and I don't think people think about, is like when we started the rise, both of Pitt and us had to have a little extra something. Neither one of us had top 10 recruits. We needed that extra edge, and I think it's rare that both of us have been able to keep that while also getting top recruits. And so I think that's what's made our programs really special is now we're getting top recruits, but we're also playing with that same edge and I would say swag that we were before.
Left side, second row.
Danny, obviously emotion came out for you in the last match. We saw you celebrating with the team. Obviously, you have your players out here talking about their connection with you. I guess just talk about how special this particular group is this year and how you guys have all connected together and how important that has been on and also off the court.
Yeah, I think this team really took a little work. Whenever you have new pieces, like we brought in Charity last year, Sophia this year, we have freshmen playing big roles. So it wasn't just so seamless. And then, so when you accomplish something great, you know that hard work really paid off. And I think this team worked together so well and had to be selfless for the entire year for it to work and for us to be here. And that's what made it really special. But on top of that, just the talk of Louisville hosting the Final Four and them believing in it, and whether at the time they thought it was a big deal or not, they've been carrying that with them for 4 years. And it was a special moment that we made it. And I know how hard it is to make a Final Four. They do too. And it's no guarantee whether they're hosting or not. A lot of things have to go right. You have to have a little luck. You have to play great in the right moments. So just that it came together and we were able to be back here hosting, just a really big deal and something very few, if any, coaches and players ever get to experience.
Left side, back row.
Danny, what do you remember as a player get into an experience a Final Four like you did in Omaha?
It's funny, as a player, I don't really remember much. It's just like you're in La La Land. But I just remember really feeling like the crowd helped us so much in Omaha, and that we were able to feed off that. And I remember more about the Final Four there that I wasn't a part of when Nebraska lost to Penn State, and I was like calling radio or something, and that was crazy with the crowd. But I just remember it's like the hoopla, it's a little bit extra, and I think that is good because you really realize just how many people are behind you. And I think that's what our players are probably feeling like with their families and friends and people and reaching out and giving them advice, telling them they're going to be here. So it just, the Final Four is already a big deal, but it just adds a little bit of extra fun and excitement when there's so many people that have access to see it.
Okay, right side, second row.
Olivia Babcock has 45 kills in the 2 matches you've played. Is there anything that you can do to limit her impact on a match?
I think it's tough. She's going to get her kills. She's a great player. She's extremely physical. So we'll do our best with the game plan, but you can do everything perfectly against Babcock, and she's still going to kill the ball. So we just have to weather that storm and hope offensively that we can match some of that intensity. But I think your plan cannot be to slow her down. You got to find other ways to win.
Oh, left side.
Danny, there's a native Nebraskan on every roster. You have 2 of them on yours. I mean, when you, as one yourself, when you hear that, what does that make you think? And what is about the state, not the school, the state, that makes volleyball so special there?
I just think the impact the Nebraska program has on the youth and the culture of volleyball in the state just makes people want to be a part of it. And I think players start playing at a young age and they take a lot of pride in how they're playing. And on top of that, the club coaches and high school coaches in the state of Nebraska are excellent. And so the players are improving and getting better at a faster rate than a lot of states because of that, and a lot of it's because of the coaching. But I didn't know that until I saw it. I think probably a tweet that there's a native Nebraskan on every team, and I wonder if that's ever been done before. But it's pretty cool, and I like to shout out Kentucky too a lot now that I'm here and how good the volleyball is in the state of Kentucky. So I think it's pretty unique that 2 states are so well represented.
Back to the right side here on the aisle, Tyler.
I think you kind of stole my thunder with that question, the last part of that answer. But speaking to it, you have 2 Louisville natives on your roster. Kentucky continues to put out top programs and top recruits. What do you want the nation to see about Louisville as a volleyball community and Kentucky's place in this sport when you have this kind of an opportunity?
I think just hosting the Final Four and, seeing the crowd and not just people that are in the stands, but is there media here? That's one thing that's really important. Are there going to be people out and about enjoying the event throughout the day? I just want people in the country to know that volleyball is a big deal in this state, and it'll continue to be a big deal, and that's how you grow a program, and that's how you sustain it, is when people care. And I think the chance for the Final Four to be here is a chance for us all to show that we care about the sport and want to be a big part of growing it.
2 questions still on the right, and then we're coming back to the left, back row.
Danny, first of all, how many requests for tickets from friends, family, anybody have you gotten this week? And just can you speak to how difficult it is for some people to get? I mean, this is a big event, and it's here.
I've had a lot of people be like, "Oh, your crowd's going to be incredible." I'm like, "Well, you forget it was sold out. Months ago. It was sold out, I think, in a day or 2 days. I don't know what the actual stats were. So it's not like Louisville fans just jumped on Ticketmaster after we won and were able to get a great seat. Now, hopefully, they're found ways to get in the game and through connections. But yeah, I've had a lot of requests, and I have no doubt that it's going to be packed. And I'm hoping the diehard Louisville fans found their way in and didn't have to pay too much for a good seat.
Okay, right side, second row.
Danny, what would you cite as the most recent example of that extra edge that you referred to earlier?
I would say there's maybe a couple, like the win over UNI just as a whole, and when a team is just playing unbelievable, UNI really was playing unbelievably well, and we couldn't do anything to slow them down, and we pride ourselves in being a great defensive team, and we couldn't do anything. The look in our team's eyes was different, and I felt like Anna DeBeer, she took over some huddles and in the locker room and really willed us to win. And if you don't have a player like that feels confident and is able to show that emotion, maybe you don't win that game. And then, we have Sophia is new to our team, and against Stanford, she played amazing, and you saw some of that edge come out. And I think a part of that hopefully is what she's learned while she's here, and learned she can be herself and show some of that, and that she's going to need to do that to beat the best teams in the country.
Left side, second row, Dusty.
Danny, obviously your connection with Anna is special, and even just what we saw up there too, the talk between the two of you guys, it goes beyond the court. To have her come back and have the impact on this team that she has, how special was that for you to have her come back to this team, and what kind of role across the board has she played this year to get you guys to this point?
And we wouldn't have let her leave, so it was like her only option to come back. But I think with the COVID year and her injury, it really was a no-brainer, and then you throw the icing on the cake that the Final Four's here, and we're returning a great team. I think it wasn't much of a conversation for her to come back. I think without her, we wouldn't be sitting here, obviously, and just the role she's played this year is much more of a leadership role and a maturity role, and she's really helped the rest of the team understand that this is a big deal, but also help prepare them for what to expect. And I think it gives everybody a little more confidence when you have somebody like her who's been through it and been through a lot of different things in her career, and she's been through these Final Fours. So I just feel like the team is much more prepared than we have been in the past.
Front row here, right side, couple more.
Coach, whenever you're scouting for Pitt, you've played them multiple times, you're very familiar with them. How do you not over-scout for this game, since you already know what they're going to do, but some things might change?
Yeah, that's what we do. We try not to over-scout. It's like, again, I got asked about Babcock. We know what she's going to do. That's not a matter of knowing. It's like if you can stop it, and maybe we'll get a little break and she'll hit 1 or 2 balls out of bounds. I don't know. That's like what... But I think it's interesting the way we both played in the 2 games were a little bit different, and some of the game plans you can tell were different in the first 2 games, and we ended up losing both. So it's like, well, we got to change something and really decide what we're going to do. But I think it's more focusing on our side of the net going into Thursday than focusing on what Pitt's doing. And the team that executes the best is going to win.
Yeah. Stay on the front row here, right side.
Coach, your team and Pitt are obviously two of the better serving teams in the country. How important will service C be tomorrow night?
Probably one of the most important things.
All right. Last question over on the left side.
Danny, I know this is not your favorite thing to talk about, but there still hasn't been a female head coach to win a national championship in D1 women's volleyball. What do you think needs to happen for that to change and for there to be female coaches every year at the Final Four?
I mean, we're getting closer, right? So I was just told there's like a 62% chance because if us and Penn State win, that goes up to 100. So we're getting there, that there's more. And I think there's more female coaches that are staying in the game longer and more female coaches that are getting the opportunity to take over these storied programs. And we're not having to start from, the bottom or start at a program, a mid-major, and then take a mid-major up and then get a chance at a Power 5. I think that will help as just more opportunities. But hopefully it starts this week. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can do or Katie can do at Penn State. It's more just being consistent and really encouraging other women to stay in the sport and to go for it and showing them that they can do it too.
Good deal. Danny,
Thank you.
Good luck. Hello, media. Just a heads up, in about 5 minutes, the Penn State Nittany Lions will make their way to the interview room. That's in 5 minutes at 2:20. Okay, attention media, the Nittany Lions are making their way to the dais for our press conference. Final of the Final Four today. Hi, guys. Hey. Welcome in. Good. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome, welcome. So just as usual, we'll ask for Coach to make an opening statement regarding the Final Four here, and then we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes and coach. And so, Katie, welcome to Louisville.
Thank you. I just want to thank the city of Louisville and the university. This has been such a great time for these girls already, and you guys do it right and put on a great show, and we're excited to be here and to get to practice a little bit this afternoon and just soak this all in. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's open it up to questions. You want to give us a start, Nancy? Sorry, right side.
Sales Dignity Volleyball. I was curious, Katie, your reaction to the players being named AVCA All-Americans and Izzy being Freshman of the Year?
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I think it's a well-deserved honor for these players, and it's great for the program, and these guys have put a lot of work in to get to where they are today, and I'm really proud of them.
Okay, Nancy, please.
For the players, I think every season has like three big parts. You have the non-conference, the conference, and then the postseason. Can you talk about each section and how you've changed for the players as a team? You don't have to talk about yourself, but as a team.
Talk about preseason. I think that our preseason was really tough this year, and I think that us being together since the spring and then going on a foreign trip and then going into that, it just made us like bond together so much more, and we just felt a lot more prepared than in previous years. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Big Ten schedule is just so grueling, and it definitely prepares us for the NCAA tournament in that way. Like, we're playing top 5, top 10, definitely top 25 teams day in and day out. So it prepares us well for the NCAA tournament for sure.
And then I think postseason, we've kind of had to step it up a little bit because you know that each moment is a little bit bigger, but being seniors, we kind of had to remind the team, like, don't make it bigger than what it is. Like, we're playing for something on our chest, but we're playing for each other more than that.
About playing a conference team. There's only 2 conferences here, ACC and the Big Ten. So we've all seen each other so many times. So that can be good and bad. What do you think the good part is, and what do you think the bad part is?
I would say it's good for sure. Like, it's so cool for the 2 conferences that there are 2 teams from each conference, and it just shows how strong those 2 conferences are. I guess like the downside would be like we've seen them already, and the 2 other teams have seen each other already. So.
Challenge of having played a team several times and then having that third or fourth or second time. Does it get in your head if you've lost, or is it just like get revenge, or is it just play your game and go on?
I mean, I think the postseason is a different season, but I mean, it makes it a little bit harder because it's hard to beat someone twice. They have a different hunger when they come at you. There's a different fight in the game, but it's about how you respond to that moment as a team. And if you let it get into your head, then it makes it a mental game, but if not, then it stays physical.
Left side.
I'm just curious what your reaction to Izzy's season has been and how you've seen her grow.
I think Izzy is just like such an amazing player, and I've said this before, but she genuinely does play like a fifth year out there on the court, and I think that we're just so proud to see her grow, and not only that, like thrive in the college environment. And be able to play this season with her sister. It's just been great to see her.
Far left side.
This question is for all of you. How would you describe sort of coach's diagnosis and sort of how you guys talk about some of the little moments, because it truly changes how you view life, and I'm just curious how that shows up in your everyday moments, like little moments, doesn't have to be a big match,
Yeah, I think sometimes we can get caught up like in the moment, and we've been playing the sport for most of our lives, so it can seem like the most important thing in your life sometimes. But the way that coach is able to come in and just be the same every single day, no matter what's going on, is like puts so much into perspective for us, because this really is just a sport, and obviously we want to win and that's what we're here for, but at the end of the day it's just a game, and we don't have to take this too seriously, because sometimes life outside of sports can be more challenging than what you're dealing with in volleyball.
Yeah, I just want to say too, like, we are playing for something bigger than us, and I think it's also important to realize that this is the same Katie from last year and the year before this, cancer or not. She still comes into that gym every day with the same fire and intensity, and I think like that's something that people need to realize. Like, Katie has pushed this program on her back year after year, and she's pushed us here to the Final Four, and I'm just excited to be a part of all those years.
Left side, sorry. Yep.
Sorry. Can you hear me? How are you able to show up with the same energy? What is your your mindset through this all?
Well, I mean, I'm fortunate that I'm at a great hospital and getting great care, and I think that being around this team and this staff is when I feel most normal. So for me, being at practice and in the gym with them, makes it a whole lot easier. So, yeah, it's people talk about inspiration and things like that. I'll tell you, I'm going to UPenn, and every day I walk into the hospital there, it's the children's hospital is right across the street. So for me, it's like, that's my perspective. There's, babies and younger kids that are really sick, and I'm gonna be healthy and I will get through this, and it's just part of my journey in my life right now. But that for me is inspiration. But no, being with these guys makes it a whole lot easier and fun. And yeah, I'm happy for them and excited to experience these next couple days with them.
I'm curious for the players what your experience has been like here in Louisville so far, and what are you most looking forward to about this week?
It's been awesome.
Cam just got her nails
done. I got my nails done. I mean, we showed up and we had a police escort. Like, we brought so many people with us that just want to support us. So I think they just made us feel really welcomed, and that's really nice in this moment.
It's a bougie experience. Super, super bougie. I mean, this is nice. Y'all really did your big ones.
I was okay. Go ahead.
What are some of your thoughts for the players on Nebraska? Obviously, huge match and coming up.
I think they're a great team. I mean, we knew that. That's how you get here. And I think so are we. So it'll be a battle.
Anybody else?
For the players as well, just some of your thoughts on this season, what things you've been able to do well in particular to get to this point?
I think this team does such a good job of just moving through things and moving on really fast. We've put together such a good body of work throughout the season, but if we win or if we lose, it's always on to the next. We never talk about rankings. We never talk about awards. We're never really talking about like other teams or hyping people up or anything. So I think we do a really good job of just living in the moment, and if we win, great. We're moving on to the next to beat the next team. If we lose, great. We're moving on to beat the next team. So we do a good job of moving through things pretty quickly.
What does it mean to you to just be carrying on the legacy of this program, the latest Final Four team?
Well, I mean, I think it means a lot. Like, we talk every day about just walking into the gym at Penn State is a different atmosphere than anywhere else in the country. Playing at Rec Hall is a different experience. Being supported by people at Penn State is a different experience. Like, being able to wear these jerseys and play for this team under Katie as well is a dream come true. Because, I mean, we grew up watching Penn State volleyball. They were great back then, and we're great now.
I do have a question, if that's okay. Katie, you said normal, and you feel most normal. So let me ask Cameron and them, what is normal around Katie? Ask them what's normal with your coach around?
If I could call Katie Mom during practice, I would. Like 100%. Mom, can I? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
she definitely just cares about you like so much, and like the first thing that she asks you when she sees you is like, how's your day going? How'd your test go today? Is your homework done? Like, she really does care about you, and I think that is like her normal.
She also is always in our lives, and I think that she cares about everybody's families and things like that, like whose family member is doing this. My brother just had a baby, she checked in on him, she's texting my mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's part of the family. So yeah, that's her normal. I mean, just being a part of our lives, same way she's a part of ours every single day.
And Katie, I guess normal to you is exactly that then. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I just, I love being with this group and just, our daily interactions. And, like I said, I have the best staff around and just people that care. And, I just want to see these ladies do the best they can on and off the floor. And I'm just excited about their future and that they've been a part of this program.
Thank you. Left side, sorry.
Jess, you guys have had some big comeback wins, been able to win in a lot of different situations. How important has that been?
Yeah, I mean, super important. It just like builds these micro doses of trust, and I think the first time we ever talked about that was in preseason against Kentucky when we were away and we reverse swept them. That was like the first building block into that trust. So I just think that that's been accumulating over the course of our season. And I mean, against Creighton on Sunday in that third set, I think is when you definitely saw that come to fruition. So we're hoping to just keep building on that.
Kim, how would you say that international trip helped build camaraderie with the team and got you to this point?
I think it just proved how well we can be together as a team. Like, every single day we were together for at least 24 hours maybe, like literally every single day. And we were laughing and we were playing volleyball, and it was like, okay, you walk around the city for 7 hours and sightsee, and then you have to switch gears and play volleyball, and we had to figure out how to just like be in a different mindset, but we could help each other with that, and it's helped us on the court. Like, if we're in a bad mindset, I go to Jess and I'm like, Jess, you got to snap me out of this right now. Like, give me something else to think about, and she can do that. But that's the trust that she just talked about. Like, building that in the beginning has really helped us now.
On that trip, you guys played against the Italian youth national team. What was that experience like?
It was really cool, obviously, to get that opportunity to play against them, and then also, like, for people like us that are looking at going pro, it kind of gave us a little dabble what maybe life would be like to play against foreign players and their pro teams, and yeah, it was super cool. I enjoyed it, and the view outside the gym was amazing with the mountains. It was so beautiful. It was like right like by Lake Como, and it was amazing.
Okay, left side.
How would you describe Penn State volleyball culture? Like, do you guys go in, day out, grinding at the sport and the craft? Like, how would you describe, like, Penn State culture?
Yeah, I think Quinn Menger, like, on our team describes it best, and Penn State has always been maybe not the best team, like, on paper, but they were going to fight you tooth and nail if you wanted to beat them, and I think that just totally encapsulates Penn State volleyball, like scrapping, outworking, grittiness, and some of the people who have been through this program are like some of the baddest women to ever do it.
For the players, I'm curious if you've watched the videos of previous teams winning national championships and flying onto the court. What goes through your mind when you're watching that?
Straight chills. Like, we watched Megan win a national championship, and we're all like, Megan, what did that feel like? Like, it's a crazy experience because we know her now, and just knowing that, like, we can be around people like that and then try to uphold that same legacy, it's really special.
Jess, I'm just curious your thoughts on your backcourt this year. Jill, Ava, Joss playing pretty significant roles.
Yeah, it's really cool. One of my favorite rotations is when all three of those littles are back there just flying around, and it makes our lives a lot easier up in the front court. But it's awesome because they just fly around and make some insane defensive plays that make it really hard for the other team to score.
Taylor, what's your impression of just the arena here? Have you guys been out on the court? Obviously, you have practice coming up after this.
We've seen the court, but obviously the KFC Yum Center is amazing. Lots of big people have played here, and we're just excited to be here. And yeah, that's really it. It's a nice place, and like I said, this has been great.
Your home state, what does that mean to have so many friends and family here watching you?
I'm super excited. I think that, you know, coming back for my 5th year, this was one of the main things I was thinking about, is that I knew Louisville would be hosting it, and it's super excited that I'm here with this group of girls and that the team gets to experience this, and that this is like our first time experiencing it too, and it's just really cool.
You have any questions for Katie too? We can go. She said no, but
Coach, I'm just curious how you've seen these three players up here really make an impact on your program and the things that they brought to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think each of them are different in their own way, yet so competitive and caring. And you know, the senior classes, I put a lot on them to do the right things and to help the program get to where it is today. And they've done exactly that, and I'm really proud of them.
All right. Anything else for Penn State before we let them get out of here?
Curious the camaraderie that you guys have, if maybe you have a best hair braider on the team, different things like that kind of bring you guys closer together?
I would say the foreign trip definitely did it for us. Like, that was what made us so close. And I don't know if there's a best hair braider. Maybe Quinn, probably. Quinn's probably the best hair braider. But we have all of these like little micro traditions that like we all do before the game, and it's just cool to like get ready together and see everyone do those.
Good deal. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
Good
you.
luck tomorrow.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Hopefully you guys get a little break here too.
I got it made. I just get to sit down.